Namaste, Javins. Myself, Javin, Dr. Barkha Khurana. Today in neurology and neurosurgery, we will be talking about botulism. See, it is a paralytic disease that is caused by potent protein neurotoxin of Clostridium botulinum, and it is characterized by symmetrical descending flaccid paralysis of motor and autonomic nerves, and these generally begin at the cranial nerves. Now we'll talk about the etiological agents. First is C. botulinum, which is an anaerobic gram-positive organism. It is present in the soil and marine environments throughout the world, and it elaborates the most potent bacterial toxin. Now we'll talk about neurotoxins. There are different types A through G, and they affect different species. They cause flaccid paralysis. Flaccid paralysis means when there is loss of tone of the muscles, and only a few nanograms can cause illness. It binds neuromuscular junctions. And if we boil the things, then the toxins can be destroyed. And for the sports, higher temperatures are implemented to get it inactivated. Now the toxins A, B, and E and F also, they cause illness in the humans, whereas C and D cause illness in the birds and mammals. The toxin G has been associated with sudden death, but no neuroparalytic illness. Toxin type A produces most severe syndrome with the greatest proportion of patients requiring mechanical ventilation because there is flaccid paralysis of the respiratory muscles. So in that case, we need artificial ventilation, or you can say mechanical ventilation. Then we'll talk about the epidemiology. It is through ingestion, wound contamination, through inhalation. Let's talk about the pathogenesis. The toxin enters bloodstream from mucosal surface or from a wound. If it is an infected wound, then it binds to peripheral cholinergic nerve endings that inhibit the release of acetylcholine. And we have already known that at neuromuscular junction, the acetylcholine is responsible for contraction of the muscles. But what happens when these toxins bind the cholinergic nerve endings? The release of acetylcholine is inhibited. And when it is inhibited, the muscles may not contract. Symmetrical descending paralysis occurs beginning with cranial nerves and progressing downwards. This can result from airway obstruction or paralysis of respiratory muscles. Secondary complication related to prolonged ventilatory support and intensive care. Now we'll talk about clinical manifestations. First is foodborne botulism. The incubation period is 18 to 36 hours, and that depends on the dosage of the toxin. Then home canned food or goods are there, that means a foodborne botulism. Particularly low acid food such as asparagus, beets and corn. Then there is nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, diplopia, dysarthria, dysphonia, dysphagia. And there is descending weakness or paralysis like shoulders to arms, to thighs, to curves. That is known as descending. There is symmetrical flaccid paralysis. There is no history of fever. As I told you before, the respiratory muscles are also paralyzed. Next is wound botulism. The incubation period is 10 days. The gastrointestinal symptoms are lacking. The wound botulism has been documented after traumatic injury involving contamination with the soil, after cesarean delivery, if the wound doesn't heal up, after antibiotics have been given to prevent wound infection. Then the next is intestinal. It may be one of the cause for sudden infant death. Constipation, lethargy, poor feeding, weak cry, Berber palsies, failure to thrive. These are the manifestations. Now, if we talk about the diagnosis of botulism must be considered in patients with symmetric descending paralysis who are afebrile and mentally intact. In lab diagnosis, we will go for cultures toxin in serum, stool, gastric aspirate, suspected food. Then EMG can also be a diagnostic procedure. If we talk about differential diagnosis, then we'll consider about Guebba syndrome, myasthenia gravis, stroke, tick paralysis, Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and many other like diabetic complications, poliomyelitis, CNS infections. Now, the main part is treatment. So people of all ages, whether it's an infant or adult, if they are suspected of this botulism infection, they should be hospitalized. In ICU, intensive care is needed. So this is all in the treatment in botulism. I hope you understood this session well. And if you have any doubts, you can post a comment. This session is powered by Digital 2.0 version of Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women University. Thank you.